The moment she said it, his world stopped. "Will you sleep with me tonight?" Her voice trembled, barely louder than the wind brushing past the bridge. He stared at her, stunned, not because of what she asked, but because 10 seconds earlier, she had been ready to step off the edge and disappear forever. If you've ever felt like giving up, like no one sees your pain, stay with me till the end of this story. And if stories like this touch your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe, because sometimes, a single story can remind us why we keep going. Arman hadn't planned on being anyone's hero that night. He was just a tired single dad, juggling 2 jobs, a mountain of bills, and a 7-year-old daughter who believed he could fix anything in the world, even though he could barely fix his own life. It was past midnight when he crossed the old bridge on his way home. The streetlights flickered, casting long shadows on the empty road. He almost didn't notice her at first. A woman in a black coat stood on the railing. Not near it, not leaning against it, on it. His heart skipped. "Hey," he shouted instinctively, dropping his worn backpack. She didn't turn. "Don't come closer," she said, her voice eerily calm. "Just go." But Arman didn't move, because he knew that tone. The quiet kind of pain. The kind that doesn't scream, it whispers right before it breaks. "I can't do that," he replied gently. "Someone at home would be really mad at me if I just walked away." She let out a faint, humorless laugh. "Lucky you. Someone's waiting." There was something in that sentence, something hollow. "I have a daughter," he said. "She thinks I'm a superhero. I'm trying really hard not to disappoint her tonight." That made her glance back, just slightly. Her face was pale, her eyes swollen, like she had cried for hours. "Superheroes don't belong here," she said. "This is where broken people come." Arman took a slow step forward. "No," he said softly. "This is where people come when they feel like they have no other choice." Silence stretched between them. Then she whispered, "I've tried everything. Nothing works anymore." He didn't ask what everything meant. Because sometimes, pain doesn't need details, it needs someone to listen. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "Maira." "I'm Arman." Another step closer. "Okay, Maira," he said. "I don't know what brought you here. But I know this, whatever it is, it's not stronger than you. It just feels that way right now." Her grip on the railing tightened. "You don't understand," she snapped suddenly. "I've lost everything." "I probably don't," he admitted. "But I do understand what it feels like to lose your ground." That made her look at him again. So he told her, not everything, just enough. About losing his wife 3 years ago in an accident. About raising his daughter alone. About nights he sat on the kitchen floor, wondering how he'd survive another day. About the time he almost gave up too. "But I didn't," he said quietly. "Not because I was strong. But because someone needed me, even when I didn't believe in myself." Maira's eyes filled again. "I don't have that," she whispered. "No one needs me." Arman shook his head. "You don't know that." "Yes, I do," she said, her voice breaking. "The people I trusted betrayed me. The company I built is being taken away from me. My name, my life, everything is falling apart." That's when he realized, she wasn't just anyone, she was someone who had everything, and lost it all. And somehow, that made her pain even heavier. Arman took another step closer. Now he was only a few feet away. "Then stay," he said. "Just for tonight. Don't decide forever based on a moment like this." She looked down at the dark water below. "I'm so tired," she murmured. "I know," he said. "But you don't have to be strong forever. Just be strong enough to climb down." For a long moment, she didn't move. Then, slowly, trembling, she stepped back. Arman rushed forward and helped her down. The second her feet touched the ground, she collapsed into tears. Not quiet tears, the kind that come from deep, buried pain. He didn't say anything, he just stood there, letting her cry. They sat on a bench nearby. Neither spoke for a while. Then, out of nowhere, she asked, "Can I ask you something strange?" Arman nodded cautiously, and then she said it. "Will you sleep with me tonight?" He froze, not out of temptation, but out of understanding, because he knew she wasn't asking for what the words meant. She was asking not to be alone. "I won't leave you alone tonight," he said gently. "But not like that." She looked at him, confused. "I have a daughter at home," he continued. "She has a spare blanket. You can stay on the couch. It's not much, but it's safe." Maira's lips trembled, and for the first time that night, she nodded. Arman's small apartment wasn't impressive. Peeling paint, Old furniture. A kitchen that barely functioned. But it was warm, and more importantly, it was alive. His daughter, Zara, had fallen asleep on the couch, waiting for him. Maira watched as Arman carefully picked her up and carried her to bed. There was something about the way he tucked her in, kissed her forehead, whispered goodnight. Something that broke Maira all over again. "You're a good father," she said quietly when he returned. "I'm trying," he replied. That night, she slept on the couch. And for the first time in weeks, she didn't cry herself to sleep. Morning came with sunlight filtering through thin curtains and the smell of tea. Zara peeked at the stranger in the living room with curiosity. "Are you a guest?" she asked innocently. Maira smiled faintly. "I think so." "Well," Zara said proudly, "my dad makes the best tea in the world." "You're lucky." Maira hadn't smiled like that in a long time. Days turned into weeks. Maira didn't return to the bridge. Instead, she kept returning to that small apartment. She helped Zara with homework. She cooked meals. She laughed, slowly at first, then freely. And piece by piece, she began to rebuild herself. Arman never asked for anything. Never pried. He just showed up. Every day. Eventually, the truth came out. Maira wasn't just anyone. She was the CEO of a major company, one she had built from nothing. But a betrayal from her closest partners had pushed her out. She had lost control, reputation, everything. "I thought my life was over," she admitted one evening. Arman shook his head. "No," he said, "your life was just changing direction." Months later, Maira fought back. Not with anger, but with clarity. She rebuilt her career, this time stronger, wiser. And when she succeeded again, she didn't forget the man who met her at her lowest point. One evening, she stood at the same bridge again. But this time, she wasn't alone. Arman stood beside her. "You know," she said softly, "this is where I almost ended everything." He nodded. "And this," she continued, looking at him, "is where everything actually began." She smiled. Not the broken smile from before. A real one. "Thank you," she whispered. Arman shrugged lightly. "You climbed down," he said. "I just stood nearby. And that's the truth, isn't it? Sometimes, saving a life isn't about grand gestures. It's about being there, listening, staying, reminding someone that their story isn't over yet. So if you're struggling, if you feel like you're standing on your own edge, remember this: there's always another chapter waiting. And sometimes, all it takes is one person to help you turn the page."